Donald Trump, you may have heard, today took the stand as a witness in the $250 million civil trial in which he and his business are accused of years of massive financial fraud. His testimony was chaotic and rambling by all accounts. Legal observers broadly today said his testimony likely undercut his own lawyer's defense strategy in terms of the provable allegations in this case and the amount of distance his lawyers have been trying to put between him and the financial statements that are at issue in this fraud case. But, you know, the sort of chaotic, insulting, non sequitur character of his testimony today may not help with the sort of black letter law of this civil fraud case that he's facing. But it does have a larger point for him, right? Chaotic, rambling, non sequitur, out of control, insulting, sort of unprofessional, inappropriate testimony may not help with his case, right? But it does make a mockery of the legal system, right? It does implicitly, at least, and explicitly, according to some of his testimony today, show that he's trying to denigrate and discredit and delegitimize not just this case against him and his company, but the whole legal system, the whole court system. That does appear to be his larger goal. And it makes sense, right? When your legal troubles include a couple of huge civil cases and 91 felony criminal counts against you, one way to fight that is to fight each of the civil suits and each of the 91 felony charges on the substance. Sure, you could do that. The easier path, though, the more efficient path, is just to run against the legal system. To tell your followers that the American legal system, the American system of justice and law enforcement and the judiciary and the court, it's all illegitimate. And your followers should see it as illegitimate, too. Right? Tell your followers you don't intend to follow the rules of the legal system, and they shouldn't either. Delegitimizing the legal system, delegitimizing and trying to discredit the independent judiciary and the court system is, of course, the most important step toward dissolving the legal system in the court system or trying to turn it into something unrecognizable in a democracy. We're going to talk with Washington Post reporter Devlin Barrett tonight about his new reporting about the planning that's underway on the right for what to do to the U.S. legal system if Trump or another Republican is elected president next year. Truly chilling reporting from Devlin Barrett and his colleagues at the Washington Post. We're going to have Devlin Barrett here live coming up this hour. But, you know, you might have seen the big political news of the last 48 hours was the New York Times Siena College polling that came out this weekend about the presidential race. And the headline there was that President Biden's reelection effort looks like it's in trouble. Trump is ahead of Biden in a hypothetical general election matchup in 5 of 6 so-called battleground states. Interestingly, though, even in that poll, those results flip when people are asked about Trump potentially being convicted of any of the felonies he's currently charged with. In that same poll, all 6 of those 6 swing states would go for Biden if Trump is convicted on any count in any of his trials. So we'll see. But you see how central this is to Trump's effort to try to get back into the White House. It's a chicken and egg thing in terms of why he wants to get there, right? And what convictions have to be seen as by his followers. But you see why his effort is to try to not necessarily beat all of these charges and all of these civil suits. It's to say that the legal system doesn't matter. And the legal system isn't in power. And the legal system doesn't need to be obeyed.